Ladies and gentlemen, weekend 2 of the Modern Warfare 3 beta is officially live. And if you're watching this, it means two things. Number one, if you've pre-ordered the game on anything, you can go and play that beta now. The second thing it means is that I am live over on Twitch. If you want to get your hands on those Twitch drops or just want to come hang out, say hi, it'll be linked down in the description. We'll be live this afternoon as well as tomorrow morning and throughout the weekend as well. So if you want to check out the live streams, they are linked down in the description. Now, as far as what this video is, with weekend 2 of the beta, they've added in a bunch of patches and changes and fixes and additions to the game that are going to change up the way that you play within weekend 2 of the beta. And essentially what this video is it's going to go over everything new, the new maps, what is unlocked, everything like that, but also go over the patch notes as to what has changed going into weekend 2 of the beta, so you know what you're getting your hands on. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, but first, let me explain when you will be able to play. So if you're on PlayStation last weekend, it is simple. All you have to do is hop on and play. There was a small update that you did have to download. If you're on Xbox or PC and have pre-ordered the game, when this video goes live, you can hop on and play, assuming that you have downloaded the game. If you did not pre-order the game, you can then start playing on the 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when the full open beta is going on. You do not have to have pre-ordered the game, and you can play on every single console. In other words, that is Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So first things first, before we dive into the patch notes and everything like that, the nitty-gritty details, I want to show you what is new this weekend. So starting off with the maps, if we have a look at what is now in here, we have Estate, Favela, High Rise, Rust, and Skid Row. Of course, High Rise being the new map there. We also have our new mode called Cutthroat. This is a 3v3 mode that I believe works very similar to Search and Destroy, but with 3 teams. I haven't actually played it yet, but I'm sure we'll be playing it on stream. Again, check out my Twitch down below. And then you have Ground War, which this one we only have pop-off power. The other map that we're going to talk about in the patch notes, it's not out yet, probably later this weekend. Not sure what day yet. The other new thing, of course, is the progression. So last weekend, it only went up to level 20. The last beta reward you could get, I'm actually going to get rid of my face, was the Beta Ripper. Now it goes all the way up to level 30. So as you can see, there is another SMG that you can unlock, some new equipment available. And as we go through, there is some beta rewards as well, with the top level beta reward actually being an operator, as you can see here, called Jester. For some reason, it is not colored, but it is a red skin. It looks pretty cool. And of course, you can unlock everything. The one that I'm most looking forward to seeing how it works in the meta is Ghost. This is, of course, going to be a big one, as well as the Covert Sneakers, which eliminates your footstep sound, which is, of course, going to make you able to play more aggressive. The other thing that we're going to be getting later on this weekend that isn't here yet is Search and Destroy. So that will be coming later on this weekend. My guess is Saturday. So if you're a Search player, stay tuned for that. Should be coming later on this weekend, as well as that other Ground War map. So moving into the patch notes. So we're actually going to read through pretty much all of these patch notes. Normally I don't do that, but I think the information here is good enough to actually do that. So it says, welcome to weekend 2 of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta. As far as the new things that we're getting, we kind of already talked about this. We have High Rise, we have the new map, which is a ground war map called Orlov Military Base, which also should be a part of the Warzone map as well. The new mode called Cutthroat, we talked about that, and of course, Search and Destroy. Now, the patch notes, this is what we haven't talked about yet. UIX, so in other words, a user interface. Enemy operators will now display a red nameplate above their head. So before it was just a red little dot. Now it is the full nameplate. It says our team is preparing an update to decrease the slide to sprint delay. We'll provide more details on release timing as they become available. So I don't think we are going to get that this weekend, but at the same time we might. So that has to do with when you are going into a slide and coming out and then going back into a sprint. That is the thing that they are trying to fix. It should also affect your sprint to fire speed after sliding as well. So a couple of changes coming in there. People were complaining about that, saying it needs to feel more fluent, and they're already on top of it. We'll have to wait to see whether we get it later this weekend. Now, weapons. Reduced tack stance spread while sliding for several weapon classes. Assault rifle decreased from 17 to 26%. Submachine guns decreased 14 to 17%. Light machine guns decreased 30 to 45%. Marksman rifles decreased 29 to 31%. And pistols decreased from 10 to 20. The Striker, this is the one that I was really the only weapon that I thought really needed to be touched, was the Striker. They decreased the near medium damage from 39 to 36. They decreased the medium damage range from 24 to 19. That's probably where you'll notice the biggest difference. Decreased the medium damage range from 30 to 25. Decreased the far medium damage range. In other words, there's a lot of different damage ranges from 28 to 27. That one's not so big. And they decreased the minimum damage at the furthest length from 23 to 21. So now at the very minimum, it does 21 damage. This is good. That is kind of where the problem of this weapon was. They also buffed it a little bit. They increased the headshot damage multiplier from 1.2 to 1.3 and increased the lower arm damage multiplier from 1 to 1.1. I still think overall this is going to be a relatively big nerf to this weapon. Will it be enough? We'll have to wait and see, but it'll be substantially worse than it was in weekend 1, which is good because it was the best weapon by far. Now, if you're looking for another weapon to use instead of this one, MCW, check it out. It'll probably be the best weapon after this. This is what they had to say about it, though. We expect the Striker to remain a competitive option thanks to its fire rate and excellent accuracy. That is true. However, these changes reduce its damage output at long distances, preventing it from outperforming assault rifles. That was my biggest problem with the weapon. Adjustments to the damage multipliers intend to increase the consistency of the weapon. The headshot one, I don't know how that's going to do. I'd have to look at more numbers, but for now, Striker, it's nerfed. Moving forward, check out the MCW. Just trust me on that one. Now, kill streaks. The Guardian SC decreased its health from 550 to 400. In other words, it's easier to kill, and decreased its lifetime in half from 120 seconds, in other words, 2 minutes, to 60 seconds, 1 minute. So pretty big nerf there. Modes, ground war. Vehicles driven by the player no longer have limited fuel. I don't like vehicles, so I guess this is a bad thing for me. Hardpoint, disabled overhead spawn camera sequence upon respawn. That's a very small one. Maps, a state, added collision near various areas of the waterfall to prevent players from accessing unintended locations. So, in other words, an out of the map glitch. The players will no longer be killed immediately after respawning near the yellow car on the side street. I didn't know that was a thing, but that's hilarious. Popov, added collision near reactor beta to prevent players from accessing an unintended location. In other words, that out of the map glitch that was there on weekend 1, already gone. Then just some other really, really small things. We have operators. Operator movement animations will now play properly in the moments following a respawn. Apparently it didn't do that before. UI added a missing icon for the Incursion XII long barrel attachment for the SVA 545. That is very specific. Players will now be properly notified of playlist updates while idling in menus. That's a small one, but over time, I guess you would want to know that. Stability addressed a crash that occurred while matchmaking in the Ground War playlist. That's good. Addressed multiple crashes that occurred while launching the game. Resolved an issue that caused an error message stating a required network service has failed. So basically just overall stability to the game. Final thing that they said is for the latest updates on issue tracking and the game status, follow COD updates on X, aka Twitter. Additionally, we are excited to announce our Trello board for Modern Warfare 3 is now live. Be sure to utilize these platforms to find status and investigations into top issues. So having a look at these patch notes, overall, they've addressed almost every major complaint that I had at the end of weekend 1. Player visibility, that's great. The Striker, that's great. And finally, the sliding. The sliding still, we're going to have to deal with it for the bit of this weekend at the very least. It might get updated later or at the full launch of the game, but needless to say, they are on top of it. That's a really big thing because I feel like the studios working on the game just need to come out and say, okay, we're working on this thing. It's going to take a bit, but we're working on this thing. We know about it. They don't need to be afraid to say that. And really good communication. The thing I want to see is this keeping up moving forward. The quick fixes on the big bugs, the small things that they're working on being stated that they're coming down the road and things like that. As long as they stay on top of the game like this, it's a good sign moving forward. So all in all, I'm looking forward to playing on weekend 2. Check out my Twitch, everything down linked below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.